Justice with Judge Mablean will be life, because in everything we do, it involves the law. You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good, this one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Mason Gambell is suing Carl Davison in the amount of $550. Mr. Gambell claims Mr. Davison is responsible for his plumbing and hotel bills after he paid for an emergency plumbing issue in his unit and was forced to vacate the property. Mr. Davison claims he offered the plaintiff another unit to stay in temporarily, and he claims Mr. Gambell knows he only uses one plumber.
In the matter of Mason Campbell versus Carl Davison, Mr. Campbell, you are suing Mr. Davison for reimbursement for the plumber that you paid at your apartment that you rented from him due to a plumbing problem, and the hotel fee that you incurred to move out of your apartment. And Mr. Davison, you said, no, he jumped the gun. Did nobody tell him to pay that plumber? And I'm not going to pay him. Is that your position?
That's correct.
All right, so now tell me what happened. Let me see what my position will be.
All right, so I've been renting from this gentleman for about 2.5 years, and there was a problem with the sewage. So I was taking a shower, and I noticed a brown watery substance coming from under the tub. So of course I stepped back from it, and it started filling up slower, and I opened up the curtain, and I noticed it was coming from the toilet as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I put a towel around me and turned off the water, and the smell was just unbearable. So I called him, and he didn't answer. So I just went ahead and went in my phone and called somebody else.
So you called the landlord, you didn't get an answer, and you called a plumber immediately?
Correct.
All right, then what happened?
Well, the emergency guy came that I called, and
So you just looked up somebody in the telephone book,
Yeah,
or
correct.
Google, or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the guy came. I was already late for work, so I didn't have time to wait for his call or, have the landlord assist me. So the guy came, and he put the snake down the toilet, and he said it was too major of a problem. So by then, I gave him another call, and that's when he answered. And it sounded like he just woke up, so.
It was very
And what's
early
wrong
in
with
the
that? That
morning.
he just woke up? He can't wake up?
I mean,
He can't sleep in the morning? Just because you have to get up and go to work?
I expect him to be there when I need him.
Oh, really? Whenever you call, he's supposed to answer.
Yeah.
Is that right? Oh, you've been watching
Your
too
Honor,
much
it
TV.
was 5:30 in
What
the morning
happened?
when he called.
5:30 in the morning when he
Yeah,
called
when
you?
he called.
And then the second time the call was at a reasonable, like 7:30 hour or so?
Yes, it was, Your Honor. Yes.
And so when you answered the phone, what happened?
Okay, first of all, I really value anyone that rents from me in my property. I have seven different units in the area, and Mr. Gamble has been very good, a very good tenant.
Okay.
And we value our tenants. But in that call, we reached a situation where it was very difficult to surmise, It was a situation of plumbing, serious issues with plumbing that we later found out
like
about.
a pipe or something.
But he called someone not on the list just out of the blue.
What you
and
mean on
we
the
have
list?
given
What
him a
list?
list of people to contact.
Oh, you have provided a list for the
Yeah,
tenants?
Yeah.
Is
And
that
so-
right?
And so they
That's
can
correct, Your Honor.
they can contact me first of all, which he did, and then they called from the list there. And there's plumbing, cable, electrical, different issues that might come up during the agreement
this
we
list?
have. Yeah.
I did.
You
So
have
why
that.
would you call the plumber on the list?
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
How many days did it take your plumber to repair the problem?
It was a 3-day job.
So why were you in the hotel 4 days?
It took 4 days.
And later,
You changed the battery. You didn't reset the time?
No.
Why not? The whole purpose of a watch is to have an accurate time.
We're back with the case of Mason Gambell, who is suing Carl Davison for $550.
You just call any old plumber.
Any old plumber.
And your landlord has provided you this extensive list to call for an emergency, any of his workers.
Correct.
Oh, okay. That's unusual. Most landlords don't give you their list and give you permission to place the call if you can't reach him. Go on, Mr. Davison.
Well, Your Honor, Mr. Gamble went ahead and, because of what had happened in his unit, he went ahead and went to a hotel, you know.
Oh, he didn't tell
But
me
we
that
had
part.
offered him a
Wait a minute. So when did you go to
location.
the hotel? After you got home from work, or before you went to work?
After I came home from work.
And how long did you stay in the hotel?
For about 4 days.
4 days. 4 days.
4 days. And what was the cost of that?
$160, Your Honor.
For 4 days?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was $390.
Okay. And the 160 is what you paid the plumber who came out that did nothing?
Correct.
Okay.
So, Your Honor, we have
Oh.
another issue here. We have.
Well, let me ask you this. He went to stay at the hotel after he came home from work. When he called you the second time and reached you, what did you do, Mr. Davison?
I offered him another unit upstairs, okay, which was very clean, which was ready for anyone to move into. But I offered him a place to live until we could rectify this issue downstairs.
All right.
Okay.
And what did you do about the issue? Did you call your plumber?
I called Carlos on our list, and he's very reputable. Mr. Davison's plumbers did not have a very good reputation, as you can see.
Well, forget about that. Obviously, they didn't get the job done. Did your plumber get the job done?
Yeah.
And
He
how
went
long
in
did it
and
take your plumber?
He had to go into the wall
Okay.
and repair some broken pipes. We hated to see that done, but it needed to be done. It was done at less than his plumber's cost.
So
and that was
how much did that
900,
cost you?
About, let's see, it was approximately $820.
And how many days did it take your plumber to repair the problem?
It was a 3-day job.
3 days.
Yeah.
So why were you in the hotel 4 days?
It took 4 days. It really did. I
Do you
called him
have
every
the
day.
receipt for paying your plumber? Do you have the receipt for paying your plumber?
Yeah, it should be in the notes.
Should be where?
Yeah, in the evidence, and I said.
Well, you didn't present any evidence to me.
Yeah. Well, we have the receipt. It was.
Okay, so do you dispute how much he paid the plumber? Did he ever show you or tell you?
He did not.
Okay. Now, did you move out?
I did.
When did you move?
I moved out about 6 months ago.
How long after this incident did you move
after
out?
the incident, 3 months.
All right. And I understand, are you asking for rent from him? You're not asking for that?
No, we went to the lease agreement, and I deducted some painting and general things that we give back to our
So you
our
deducted
renters,
security deposit for
Yeah.
damages?
Yeah, right.
And you're not disputing any of that today? I didn't see any of that in your papers.
I actually am.
Really?
I would
then
like
you
it-
better hurry up and tell me about it. Why
All right.
didn't you mention it when you were talking?
Just because I think he's just nitpicking me, you know.
Okay,
and
how
just-
much was your security deposit?
Okay, $500, Your Honor. Okay, so we have $500.
And how much did you pay for damages?
Okay, we took care of the damages. Okay.
Okay, I am not going to deal with the issue of your security deposit because all of a sudden you're bringing that up.
All right.
And all of the paperwork I read in preparing this case and the evidence you presented to the court and what you were complaining about, you didn't say anything about the security deposit. Now that I asked the question, you want to bring it up. But you didn't plead that initially. All you asked the court to deal with was reimbursement for the hotel and for the plumber.
Your Honor,
And
we
here's-
returned $270
It's not
to
an
him.
issue. You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, no.
So I'm ready to rule. Plumber issue, your payment of the plumber. The law does not allow a tenant to just pick up the phone and call anyone to come and do repairs to someone else's property. It was an emergency situation, and were you not able to reach Mr. Davison or someone on his staff, then that's an emergency and you would be within your right to do so. But He had provided you a list of persons to call in the event of emergency. You needed to use that list. Now, the sewage on the floor, that just would have been additional damage to the property because of the sewage, which he would have been responsible for. So you get out of the shower, you walk over there, you get this list. And whatever other damage you caused, he would have had to pay for that. All right? So you're not excused from doing so. Listen to me so you can learn in the future.
Okay.
All right? You also are not permitted to go and get another room somewhere just because. He made you an offer. Yes, he has to put you up, but he had a place that was appropriate, that was available, and wouldn't have cost you any additional money. You chose to do it a different way. That's not the way it's done.
I'd just like to add, he gave me a key to look at upstairs, and it still had the smell of the sewer, and that's why I went ahead and got my
It's kind of
place.
late for you to add that because you had a whole chance to tell me all that.
Well, sir, I think
Sir,
we felt we had it all
Mr.
cleaned
Davidson,
up.
Mr. Davidson, why you debate with him? I'm finished. It's all over. I
Thank
just
you,
ruled in your favor.
Thank
You got to know when to hold and know when to fold. It's time for you to fold. Judgment for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
All you had to do is call the plumber on the list that I gave you, and you didn't.
Look, I thought it was an emergency. I'm glad I moved out. Now I don't have to deal with you anymore.
Coming up,
You changed the battery. You didn't reset the time?
No.
Why not? The whole purpose of a watch is to have an accurate time.
Adam Sandolo is suing Carl Grange in the amount of $700. Mr. Sandolo claims Mr. Grange broke his heirloom pocket watch after he took it to his store to be serviced. Mr. Grange says he isn't to blame and claims the plaintiff's watch was broken before it even got to his store.
In the matter of Adam Sandolo versus Carl Grange, you want him to pay you $700 because it's your contention that he broke your grandpa's stopwatch that he'd given you, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so what happened?
So I was gifted this pocket watch by my great-grandpa, and my father recommended that I should get the battery replaced. And since it was an heirloom, a family heirloom, I was told that to go to the closest jeweler within my area. So I took it to Mr. Grange over here, and he had told me that he could fix the battery with no problem.
Replace the battery.
Yes, replace it.
Okay.
So I left it with Mr. Grange for a couple hours while I went and shopped around. I wasn't going to wait in the watch store for a couple hours while he's in the back working on the timepiece. So after I left the watch with him, I later returned, and I noticed it was running kind of slow, but I figured it was just an antique watch problem. But when I got home, I realized it was still an hour behind, and that's when I noticed, okay, maybe the watch wasn't fixed properly. So a couple days later, I went back, and I had Mr. Grange look at the watch again, and he explained, oh, it was probably just the battery.
But that's what he did the first time, the battery.
Yes, that's why I was asking him. I was like, but didn't you say it was the battery the first time? And he told me, oh yes, but this is a special watch. It's from the 1950s. It's called a key set watch. So in the back, it needs a certain key to open up. So yeah, he proceeded to open the watch, and everything fell out. The watch just crumbled.
Coming up,
You changed the battery. You didn't reset the time?
No.
Why not? The whole purpose of a watch is to have an accurate time.
we're back with the case of Adam Sandolo, who is suing Carl Grange for property damage.
Mr. Grange, when he brought the watch to you first time around,
Yes, Your Honor.
how are you?
I'm
How
good.
long you been in the jewelry business?
Well, I've been in the jewelry business for over 20 years. If you'd like to see my certification, I have one here.
No, because if you show me a certification, it's going to tell me you should have known what you were doing.
Okay.
You knew that was a 50s pocket watch when you saw it?
Yes, Your Honor. I know the history of that vintage of watch. I do. They do have a life, these watches. Okay?
I know
And
that.
And right away, I suggested to Mr. Saldano that perhaps he might think about taking this watch and making a special place in the home to honor his grandfather and put that up because, maybe this vintage of timepiece might have some problems to it.
Was
Yes.
running out of time.
Yeah. It was
Maybe the
running out-
timepiece was just running out of
It
time.
was running out of time, and,
Yeah.
and based upon my personal experience, I felt compelled to give him that information, even though the only service he wanted performed was the battery change.
Okay, so
I
he didn't
changed the
accept your
battery.
advice.
I changed the battery and I gave it back to him.
Okay, so when you changed the battery the first time, did you realize it had a key set, that it was a key set watch?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did
Yes,
you
I
use
understood
a
that.
key to change the battery the first time?
No,
How did you change the first time?
It wasn't necessary to do that. The key is to reset the time. That came later. The second time he came back.
Wait. So you changed the battery, you didn't reset the time?
No.
Why not?
No, I did. Excuse me. I did not reset the time. No,
Why
that's
not?
right.
The whole purpose of a watch is to have an accurate time.
Right.
So if you change the battery and you know in order for the time to be accurate that you need to go in there with the key and reset the time, why did you do that?
I just didn't do that.
20 years of experience with a certification?
Yes, ma'am.
So you did a half job.
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. Promotional consideration provided by.
Now he goes home,
Yes, Your Honor.
watch not running, still hour behind, still got the wrong time. 2 days later he brings it back. What'd you say?
Okay, again, when he brought the watch back, he wanted and requested the service that I adjust the time of the watch. So I did, and because it's a key set watch, I looked for a key for that particular watch. I found one, but the minute that I took the back off that watch and put the key in, the watch fell apart. Now, I understood that there was probably some prior damage that had been done to this watch. Now,
Why?
when this prior damage was done, whether it was done before the plaintiff received the watch or because it had problems when he brought it to
So
me,
everything fell apart.
and whether it could have happened after he took the watch the first time when I put the
And
battery
it
in.
could have happened when you put the key in there.
The point is, we don't know who is responsible
Well,
or
it
when
was
that
only-
damage took place.
It was only in your hands. You using the key, watch breaks. Now, you proved to me the value. That burden's on you.
Yes, Your Honor. I actually had the watch appraised.
Okay.
And
Now that's more than your family.
it's true.
Oh yeah, I remember these. Grandpa had one. And according to the National Association of Jeweler Appraisers, it's worth $700. So I had to go with the evidence that's presented to me. And he's standing there watching, and you're the only one. So who's touching the watch? So judgment for the plaintiff, $700.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $700.
I'm sorry about your watch. I'll get you the $700. Hope you can find a replacement real soon.
That watch meant a lot to my family, so I thank you.